Hello, children. Welcome. Hope you are all doing good. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. As students, you people are always curious to learn and experiment new things. Curiosity is the vitamin of learning. Today, I'm here to kindle your curiosity on one more interesting science topic. Lesson 2, Nutrition in Animals, Part 2. In lesson 2, Nutrition in Animals, till now we have discussed many topics. First, we started with the definition for animal nutrition. Children, do you remember the definition for animal nutrition? Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body. Good. Next, we saw the different ways of taking food by different organism. We saw about bees, hummingbirds, and human, even about snakes. And we did a activity based on the various modes of feeding of snail, ant, eagle, hummingbird, lice, mosquito, butterfly, and housefly. Then we saw the amazing fact about starfish. Do you all remember? The starfish feeds on animals covered by hard shells of what? Very good. Calcium carbonate. And what happens to the stomach? The stomach goes back into the body after it consumes food, and the food is slowly digested. We saw how the stomach of the starfish pops out through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. That was interesting, isn't it? Then we saw the digestion in human, how the digestion process is carried on throughout the alimentary canal, starting from the buccal cavity to the anus. Do you remember the various compartments? The canal can be divided into various compartments. Number one, buccal cavity, very good. Number two, food pipe or esophagus. Three, stomach. Four, small intestine. Five, large intestine. And then rectum and anus. Then we saw about the salivary glands and the digestive juice secreted by liver and pancreas. The digestive tract and the associate glands together constitute the digestive system, isn't it? Then we saw in detail about the mouth and buccal cavity. We saw about the milk teeth and the permanent teeth. And we did an activity on the arrangement of teeth and different type of teeth: incisors, canine, premolar, and molar. Okay, before that, what is called ingestion? Good. The process of taking food into the body is called ingestion. Then we did an experiment on effect of saliva on starch. Then we saw how tooth decay is caused. Do you remember? The acids gradually damage the teeth
and this is called tooth decay. And what is the remedy? At least twice a day we have to brush our teeth. Now we shall learn many more interesting topics today.
Today, we are going to learn more about the digestive system in human. First, we will see the food pipe or the esophagus. Then we'll move on to the stomach. Then we'll see about the small intestine and the absorption in the small intestine. Finally, we'll see about the large intestine. The food pipe or esophagus. After the buccal cavity, the food which is swallowed passes into the food pipe or esophagus. Now look into the diagram. Can you see a tube-like structure which is called esophagus? Bag-like structure is called the stomach. And can you see the food running into the tube-like structure? The food pipe runs along the neck and the chest. The food is pushed down by movement of the wall of the food pipe. Actually, this movement takes place throughout the alimentary canal and pushes the food downwards. Can you see in the diagram? At times, the food is not accepted by stomach and is vomited out. Can you recall the instances when you vomited after eating? Think of the reason for it. Many times, when we had our stomach full and we are overeating, we had vomited. Sometimes, due to other sickness, also we had vomited. Now we are going to watch a video showing the movement of the walls inside the digestive system. As you all know, the alimentary canal starts from the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. Now we are going to watch the movement of the wall and how the food is pushed downward. Now I would like you to watch the video carefully so that you understand that food is pushed down by the movement of the wall of the food pipe.
Did you observe the video? The video showed the movement of the wall throughout the alimentary canal. Food is pushed down by movement of the wall of the food pipe. Actually, this movement takes place throughout the alimentary canal and pushes the food downward. Sometimes, when you eat in a hurry, talk, or laugh while eating, you may cough, get hiccups, or a choking sensation. Have you observed? That's why people say when you are eating, you are not supposed to talk. This happens when food particles enter the windpipe. The windpipe carries air from the nostrils to the lungs. It runs adjacent to the food pipe, but inside the throat, air and food share a common passage. Then, how is food prevented from entering the windpipe? Did you observe in the video? During the act of swallowing, a flap like valve closes the passage of the windpipe and guides the food into the food pipe. If by chance food particle enter the windpipe, we feel choked, get hiccups, or cough. Did you understand, children?
What exactly happens in our stomachs when we eat? Even before we have taken the first bite of a meal, the brain sends impulses to the stomach. These impulses start the production of secretions in the stomach, and the upper part of the stomach, which acts as a reservoir, expands. The food passes into the stomach through the cardia at the stomach entrance. This is a muscle that acts like a valve, closing the top of the stomach. The top part of the stomach, the fundus, is where food and the air that we swallow with every bite is collected. This is where the stomach volume starts to adapt. The fundus is an extremely adaptable structure. The more food goes into the stomach, the more it actively expands. In the middle part of the stomach, called the body, gastric juice is produced and mixed with the mass of chewed food. The main component of gastric juice is gastric acid. This eliminates bacteria in the food and also helps to prepare the food for the following stages of digestion. The muscular contractions of the stomach wall churn the food mass and mix it with gastric juice. 3 contractions per minute move the food mass back and forth. After a certain time, the contents of the stomach are adequately broken down and mixed, and are passed in small quantities into the intestine via the pylorus. As the stomach empties, it gradually returns to its previous size.
Bayer. Science for a better life.
Now we are living in a modern technological world. Now we have so many instruments to find out what's happening inside our internal organs. In those days, people were not aware what is happening inside the stomach. The working of the stomach was discovered by a strange accident. In 1822, a man named Alex Saint Martin was badly hit by a shotgun. Can you see the picture with a hole? The bullet had seriously damaged the chest wall and made a hole in his stomach. He was brought to an American Army doctor, William Blumore. The doctor saved the patient, but he could not close the hole properly and left it bandaged. Blumont took it as a great opportunity to see the inside of the stomach through the hole. He made some wonderful observations. He found that stomach was stunning food. Its walls secreted a fluid which could digest the food. He also observed that the end of the stomach opens into the intestine only after the digestion of the food inside the stomach is complete. Sometimes children get stomach pain. They feel somewhat uncomfortable. Sometimes they may experience the need of passing stool frequently, watery stool. This condition is known as diarrhea. There are many reasons for it. It can be caused by an infection, food poisoning, or indigestion. It is very common in India, particularly among children, because many times they don't wash their hands properly before consuming food. Sometimes they eat unhygienic food or over oily food. Under severe condition, it can be fatal. Yes, some people even die because of diarrhea. This is because of the excess loss of water and salts from the body. So, diarrhea should not be neglected. Even before a doctor.
The small intestine. The semi-fluid mass of the partially digested food now enters the small intestine. Chyme is the semi-fluid mass of the partially digested food. The small intestine is the longest part of our digestive system. Can you guess its length? Yes, it's about 7.5-meter long and it's highly coiled in structure. It is the part where most of the nutrients of food are absorbed. Liver and pancreas also join the digestion. Liver secretes bile juice stored in a gallbladder and helps in the digestion of fats. Pancreatic juice break down proteins and carbohydrates. Intestinal juice break down carbohydrates into simple sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. The process of passing the digested food into the bloodstream is called absorption. Did you understand, children? Now, we saw how the digestive juice are secreted and what are all the nutrients absorbed. Just now, we saw the definition of absorption. The digested food can now pass into the blood vessels in the wall of the intestine. This process is called absorption. The inner walls of the small intestine have thousands of finger like outgrowths. These are called villi. Can you guess what the role of villi could be in the intestine? The villi increases the surface area for absorption of the digested food. Each villus has a network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorbs the digested food material. The absorbed substance are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body where they are used to build complex substances such as the proteins required by the body. This is called assimilation. In the cells, Glucose break down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. The food that remains undigested and unabsorbed enters into the large intestine. Did you understand the important points that we saw? First one, we saw the definition for absorption. The process of passing the digested food into the bloodstream is called absorption. Then we saw about villi. Villi increases the surface area for the absorption of digested food. Transportation of the absorbed substances via the blood vessels to different organs of the body to build complex substances such as protein is called, very good, assimilation. The large intestine. When chyme gets into the large intestine, it absorbs most of the water and some salts out of the undigested food. This is important as recovering water keeps us safe getting dehydrated. Once most of the water is gone, solid waste move to the last part of the large intestine called the rectum, and the fecal matter is removed through the anus. This is called egestion. Elimination of undigested food from the body is called egestion. This way, whole digestion completes. Did you understand? The large intestine is wider and shorter than small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. What is its function? It absorbs water and some salts from the undigested food material. And what happens to the remaining waste? The remaining waste passes into the rectum and remains there as semi-solid fecus. The fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called, very good, egestion.
Across the whole planet, humans eat on average between 1 and 2.7 kilograms of food a day. That's over 365 kilograms a year per person, and more than 28,800 kilograms over the course of a lifetime. And every last scrap makes its way through the digestive system. Comprised of 10 organs, covering 9 meters, and containing over 20 specialized cell types, this is one of the most diverse and complicated systems in the human body. Its parts continuously work in unison to fulfill a singular task, transforming the raw materials of your food into the nutrients and energy that keep you alive. Spanning the entire length of your torso, the digestive system has 4 main components. First, there's the gastrointestinal tract, a twisting channel that transports your food and has an internal surface area of between 30 and 40 square meters, enough to cover half a badminton court. Second, there's the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, a trio of organs that break down food using an array of special juices. Third, the body's enzymes, hormones, nerves, and blood all work together to break down food, modulate the digestive process, and deliver its final products. Finally, there's the mesentery, a large stretch of tissue that supports and positions all your digestive organs in the abdomen, enabling them to do their jobs. The digestive process begins before food even hits your tongue. Anticipating a tasty morsel, glands in your mouth start to pump out saliva. We produce about 1.5 liters of this liquid each day. Once inside your mouth, chewing combines with the sloshing saliva to turn food into a moist lump called the bolus. Enzymes present in the saliva break down any starch, Then your food finds itself at the rim of a 25 centimeter long tube called the esophagus, down which it must plunge to reach the stomach. Nerves in the surrounding esophageal tissue sense the bolus's presence and trigger peristalsis, a series of defined muscular contractions. That propels the food into the stomach, where it's left at the mercy of the muscular stomach walls, which pound the bolus, breaking it into chunks. Hormones secreted by cells in the lining trigger the release of acids and enzyme-rich juices from the stomach wall that start to dissolve the food and break down its proteins. These hormones also alert the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to produce digestive juices and transfer bile, a yellowish-green liquid that digests fat, in preparation for the next stage. After 3 hours inside the stomach, the once shapely bolus is now a frothy liquid called chyme, and it's ready to move into the small intestine. The liver sends bile to the gallbladder, which secretes it into the first portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Here, it dissolves the fats floating in the slurry of chyme so they can be easily digested by the pancreatic and intestinal juices that have leached onto the scene. These enzyme-rich juices break the fat molecules down into fatty acids and glycerol for easier absorption into the body. The enzymes also carry out the final deconstruction of proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. This happens in the small intestine's lower regions, the jejunum and ileum, which are coated in millions of tiny projections called villi. These create a huge surface area to maximize molecule absorption and transference into the bloodstream. The blood takes them on the final leg of their journey to feed the body's organs and tissues. But it's not over quite yet. Leftover fiber, water, and dead cells sloughed off during digestion make it into the large intestine, also known as the colon. The body drains out most of the remaining fluid through the intestinal wall. What's left is a soft mass called stool. The colon squeezes this byproduct into a pouch called the rectum, where nerves sense it expanding and tell the body when it's time to expel the waste. The byproducts of digestion exit through the anus, and the food's long journey, typically lasting between 30 and 40 hours, is finally complete. TED-Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please consider supporting it on patreon.com/TED-Ed.
Hey guys, subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss another update from Drawing Space. Let's draw.